Awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Oh, my goodness. It's always a great night when we interview you, Doc. This is always a wonderful time, a wonderful day, and it's the place to be. If you are not watching this and you're not watching this through the end, I don't know what you're doing. You're doing something wrong. I don't know what it is, but try to watch this through the end. We're going to have a great discussion tonight. Dr. Chris Zaino's on for, I think, the 7th season in a row. Literally, I think you've been on every single season. If not 6 seasons, you might have missed the first one, but I think it's 7. So we're going on season 7, episode 3 here, and I could not be more thrilled to be interviewing you again and just sitting down, having a conversation all about chiropractic, all about associating, and I even added in a topic at the end here all about social media censorship and how to avoid it as a chiropractor, because especially when we're running Facebook ads, when we're posting things on our personal feeds, those posts mean something to the big bad world of the internet. So you have to know this. You have to have strategies and procedures behind it. So we're going to talk all about that tonight. I'm excited to get Dr. Zaino's opinion on this and really just have a great conversation. So when we get back from thanking these initial sponsors, we will talk all about that, and I hope to see you on the other end. We'll be right back, guys. To Inspire Women is the elite boutique coaching company for chiropractors who are looking to live life and run business in a way that is personal, unique, and authentic. They focus on business systems and money mindset mastery so you can pay down debt, be more profitable, and serve more people. Their goal is to empower you to achieve success by your own rules and your own definition. Head to toinspirewomen.com now because they know there's a better way. CHIRO HD, superior cloud-based practice management software. CHIRO HD is a user-friendly, all-in-one EHR solution built with one mission: to help you run your practice like a boss. Learn more at chirohd.com. Dr. Brad Glowacki runs one of the highest volume, highest profile, highest profitability practices in the world, and it's all run with vitalistic communication procedures. Those procedures from his office are then shared with other chiropractors at his various trainings as a part of Level Up mentoring. This information is created, developed, tested, and then packaged simplistically before being taught. With bruises and scars from making mistakes, Dr. Glow always delivers refined content that is battle-tested and simplified for use on Monday. To level up your life and practice, head over to levelupmentoring.rocks. That's levelupmentoring.rocks. Total Clinic Solutions is your go-to source for purchasing both brand new and refurbished chiropractic equipment, as well as phone support for repairs and maintenance. Call Derek and allow him to combine your wishes and his 23 years of chiropractic equipment expertise to find what's best for you and your patients at 704-622-4089 or head to totalclinicsolutions.com now. It's time that chiropractors look beyond spinal alignments and measure the nerve connections that keep our patients feeling strong and performing at their peak. CLA designed the Insight scanning technologies to transform exams and generate powerful reports that give practitioners the certainty they have been searching for. Learn how CLA has partnered with practices around the world by going to insightcla.com. Easily share your passion for chiropractic and look good doing it with Above Down Apparel, offering a premium lineup of principled apparel that's impossibly soft, sustainably sourced, and chiropractic AF. Visit abovedown.co and follow them on Instagram to learn more and score yourself some sweet chiro swag. Sked is the all-in-one system that allows for amazing control and flexibility of your scheduling. Yes, your next new hire. Every aspect of when and where you service your customers is at your command. Sked is tightly integrated with your existing EHR system. This software was made by a chiropractor specifically for chiropractic. No joke. Go check out their latest care plan feature by heading to go.sked.life/legendarypod. Dr. David Toohill is an innovative product and marketing strategist, bridging the gap between your vision and strategic plan. He will help you design specific products and processes that are both scalable and set up to produce long-term revenue and growth. He has previously worked with influencers that include Dr. Josh Axe, Jordan Rubin of Ancient Nutrition, Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson, and many, many others. Schedule your call with Dr. Dave today by heading to meetwithdrdave.com. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, we are heated tonight. Doc, I just want you to, you know what, I'll give you a brief intro. Dr. Chris Zaino is tuning in from Texas right now. He runs a high volume, high profitability practice in Texas and has for years upon years. And it has been so kind to join us on the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Like I said, from the very beginning, from the start, season 1. And we're honored to host you again, Doc, and we're honored to have this conversation. And we're talking all about associating, and we're talking all about social media censorship. So we're going to start light. Right. We're going to start nice and light. Let's start with associating. Let's talk about maybe the do's and the don'ts of finding a right position, and we'll have that conversation first, all right?
Yeah, I think you and I could go. I think we're both in a great position for someone new out of school and for someone 16 years in. So I'll tell you what, how about this? I'll tell you what the practitioner, the owner sees from my side, and then you tell me what you see from your side. So from my side, let's say the dues. Well, when I first started, I actually apprenticed with someone. And I'm not telling you to work for free, but I work for free because I wanted to learn, right? So I went there, I learned, I worked, and not long. And then I learned how that practice ran, and it was very, very beneficial. So I always had that more of apprenticing type of thing in mind. What we find today, or what I found, is you started seeing associates coming out wanting $100,000 a year or more. And I understand that. I think you should be optimistic. But as a business owner, coming into my house that I built, my thing is like, well, I would always say, so what experience do you have marketing a clinic, building a clinic, closing people on high-level care plans, and sustaining a clinic? And the answer is nothing. Zero experience. So therefore, I cannot justify that. Also, you can't expect to get raises on time. Most business owners will give you a raise on production. And that's why, I elicit a lot of bonuses. I mean, the sky's the limit with bonuses, but a lot of times there needs to be production that's made to hit that bonus, right? Very easy ways to hit the bonus, but it has to be done and worked upon. So a lot of times that's where the associate and the head doctor butt heads, because they feel like, well, I could do this, I could do just exactly what they did. But the thing is, you don't understand behind the scenes, the accounting, the legal, all the stuff that might look easy that's going on that you don't even have to worry about. So there's definitely a fair trade-off. So I think most docs get frustrated because someone comes in and they're coachable, they do well, and they start to pan off because I believe expectations on both ends are not met. Sometimes the associate feels they know a little bit more than they do. Sometimes the head doctor feels that the associate does not or needs to be performing at a better level, vice versa. So that's one bit of advice I could give you, any of the docs out there looking for an associate or an associate that's looking to work for a doc. And this has been huge, all right? This is the best thing to do. I think before you get into the relationship with the office, you must start with the exit strategy first. Meaning that even though you haven't worked for the doctor yet, be like, okay, listen, before we talk about me working there, let's talk about my exit strategy. Because that's what happens, guys. After 2 years, I noticed after 1 or 2 years, you're like, okay, it's kind of monotonous and boring. I could do this on my own. So it kind of fizzles out and your performance goes down. The doctor gets pissed. You're not performing and it doesn't work out well. So why don't you talk about exit strategy? Okay, so before I start working, how's the exit strategy look? How's the transition look? Are you going to help me fund an office if I hit benchmarks? Am I going to be able to, always start about the exit? Because I realized near the end that every associate, they deserve the right to have their own clinic at least once in their life. I think everybody should go for it on their own at least once in their life. And then, and only then, can you sit back and be like, you know what? I want to be an owner, operator on my own. Or, you know what? There's a lot of bullshit and craziness and stress, and I just want to work and love on people, go home, still live a principled life, enjoy my home life, enjoy those kids, and not really have the stress of a lot of things that the business owner has to do, especially like with COVID. Like that's just happening now. Like, it's all on the owner, because at the end of the day, everything gets thrown back on the boss, right? So I really believe it's very helpful that you always must talk the exit strategy, because then if you set up the expectation of the exit, then no one's mad at each other. Hey, I'm going to do this associate job for 1 year. We're going to renegotiate if I want to continue or start my own thing. And I really think if you set up the exit strategy right in the beginning, it really helps set up expectations, hurt feelings. And I think for an associate, imagine just running a race with no finish line, right? You're probably not going to run very fast. Think about it. Like, if I don't know the finish line, I'll run, I'll walk. Like, I just don't know the end goal. I don't know what it's. But if I knew that in 1 mile, there's a red tape, and that's a finish line, I'm going to work hard, knowing that I'm not stuck here forever. I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to learn as much as I can. And I really think having that exit strategy adds, relativity to your position if you want to continue. So that's what I got. So what do you have on your end?
Yeah, I love everything you said. Yeah, absolutely. So I would definitely agree with you on the exit strategy, right? And that's something that has to be worked out in the very beginning. It has to be. If you are going, like you just said, if you're going to sign a contract with a deadline. Sign a contract with a deadline, because here's the reality. If you do fall into the category, like you just said, of, maybe you like the associateship, you want to do it more long term, you can discuss those terms when that time comes. But until then, right, you have a deadline in place. You're going to work your ass off until you get there. And then all of a sudden it's going to be, everyone knows it's coming. You know it's coming. The team knows it's coming. The head doctor knows it's coming. Now, if you want to begin talking about a long-term plan with that doctor, that's fine. That's fine. You can work out new terms and agreements when that time comes. But I agree with you wholeheartedly that you need to have an exit strategy, because it is like running it's like running a race without a finish line. Absolutely agree. Yeah. And what you said is spot on. You wouldn't run very fast, right? That's just the reality. So we're going to tell you the truth. It's just the reality. You're not going to run very fast if you don't have a finish line in sight, right? Now, I would say this. There are top 3 things that I wrote down for do's, okay? And the don'ts are opposite of this, okay? So it's not that hard. It's not that complicated. So the do's here are, like you said, you went into a clinic and you worked for free. My tip, my number 1 do is be hungry to learn every single freaking day. Don't take days off. Don't worry about the vacation time. Don't worry about the benefit, like all this stuff, all this hoopla that people tell you to worry about in an associateship contract. If you have an exit strategy or you have a deadline, you know what you're getting into ahead of time, and it's a totally different mentality. It's a completely different mentality. You're not worried about a 401k and building retirement, because you're going to be there for a year. By the time everything's all said and done, you walk away with what, an extra $1,000, when you could have worked your ass off in the clinic and gotten bonused way higher than that, right? But instead you negotiated a 401k. And it's like, what did that just do for you, right? And so that's bullet 1. Be hungry to learn. Number 2 is get the business down. Understand how a business is run. Like you just said, there are so many things behind the scenes that you don't even see, that I constantly am peeling away at with my head chiropractor. I'm asking questions. I'm hungry to understand how he is running a business, how he has built a successful business in the last 5 years that he's been there, right? That's the stuff I need to know, because to be honest with you, schools teach you how to be a chiropractor. I won't even say great chiropractor. Schools teach you how to be a chiropractor, and they'll get you past boards, but they will absolutely never teach you how to run a business. Although they'll put business classes in there, they'll put modules in there, they'll put weekend classes in there, they will never, ever, ever be able to teach you how to run a business like someone like Dr. Zaino would, right? Or someone who's been in the profession doing it for however long. And I firmly believe that wholeheartedly. The third thing is get value, not money. Get value, not money. The reason I say that is because people are worried about what you just said. I want $100,000 starting out. I want $80,000 starting out. It's like, turn around. Check yourself in the mirror. Figure out what credentials you have to get that $80,000. Your certificates to ICPA extremities, like, yeah, sure, they mean something in the long run, but they don't mean anything in regards to associate negotiation. They really don't. Because if you have a good head on your shoulders, you have a good heart, and you want to serve people, and you're hungry to learn, and you have no certificates, me personally, I'd hire you before I'd hire someone with 16 alphabet soup letters behind their name. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what I see from my side. Find someone that's going to give you value. And for you, Doc, I mean, if you were in the market to hire an associate, it's like, you know for a fact, just based on your track record, that you're getting insane value for that. Anything on top of that, I say in my life, is it's like bonus. It's free money, right? It's like, I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm getting a mentor like Dr. Zaino. Holy smokes. Like, this is the best gig in the business, right? Like, so those are my thoughts. I hope they were all right for you. What do you think?
No, I think they were great. I've been there when I had associates leave. That's why I like the exit strategy. It's great. Like, because what happens, you never want to be, every Sunday morning, you don't want to be worrying if there's a PDF in your email inbox saying that this is their last week.
Right.
So that makes me know when an associate is like, yeah, I'm leaving, that means, so when you were working for me, you were on the internet moonlighting to go somewhere else. So it really starts to have a bad taste in everybody's mouth on associates and entitlement and all that other stuff. But yeah, I think it's great. And it's not so much, I think you should be an overachiever, but if you feel you should be, then you got to back it up with action.
Yep.
Like, and you're right, like, I'll never ask you your GPA. I could care less. And I could care less about it doesn't matter in real life.
Right.
It doesn't. What matters in real life is that you're a hard worker, you're consistent, you're trainable, you're coachable, and you're willing to go after the bonus. You're willing to say, okay, because you understand your salary when you come in. You got to understand this. A salary is you're being paid a salary to do these your normal daily activities, right? So, like, if you did this and if you did that, and like, that's what you're getting paid to do. When you go above and beyond, okay, that's now bonus material they get bonus on. But a lot of times, if you do a good job, I used to. I don't know if you guys are too young for this, but I used to, Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
TV show. It was crazy. I don't even know he's still around, but Jerry Springer, even Maury Povich, after a while, they had all these shows where there'd be that father, that deadbeat, that father out there. He's like, well, I pay my child support, and everybody would clap that he paid his child support. And I'm like, that's what the hell you're supposed to do, is pay your child support. So don't think that you're going to get rewarded on doing just the thing you were supposed to do. So don't get insulted by that. Just like, that's what you're supposed to do. Going above and beyond, or doing things when you were not told to do them, going above and beyond. That's really going to be like, hey, I set up a talk here or there. So doing talks, communication, knowing how to be a great adjuster. That's been an issue of my practice, and I'll tell you why. If I bring in an associate and they're not a really good adjuster, then it throws off my patients, and then my patients quit.
Yep.
And then so you can see, so from a boss point of view, you're paying an associate $60,000, $70,000 a year, and you're losing $30,000 a month over time because the adjuster, you're just not comfortable adjusting them, or so it creates all these other things. So there's always a learning experience. So when you're being trained an associate in a doc's office, the doctor's actually paying tuition in mistakes you may make. So if you don't know the scripting correctly, if you messed up on a report, the little mistakes, that's okay. You need to make mistakes to learn. But all those mistakes, you don't have to take out a student loan for.
Right.
Your doctor, your head doctor, is paying all those mistakes that it's costing them. They're paying your tuition. So like you said, that was a great point. When you're in that office, it's like free tuition.
Yeah.
For real life. Like everything in school, it's almost you got to purge it and go, so what matters in a real life situation? And if you could see it and not go part 4 boards on every patient and understand this is what it takes to run a clinic, it's huge. Another thing, if you're going to ask to be an associate, make sure your boards are passed. You know, because what it tells a person like me is if your boards aren't passed, it's like, come on, man. You went to school, you spent a lot of money. Don't you want to get the hell out of there? Like, I want to get the hell out of there.
Right.
And so make sure you pass your boards. Because if you can't pass your boards, you can graduate, but you can't adjust. You can't do the very thing. You could be a chiropractic assistant. And I guess that's cool. I guess it's good to learn the back office and everything, but there's just something about failing your boards, guys, that it's like, come on.
Yep.
You know, there's a little bit of laziness, or it shows me there's a little bit of distraction. That's all. I love you regardless, but it's like, because what frustrates me is there's some docs that are absolutely super talented. They got the skills and the gifts, but they didn't pass the damn test.
Right.
And the test doesn't mean that much, but you need the test to get the piece of paper
right.
so you can adjust, right? So it's like, so it's not like we're in a very big society where we're told to follow what we love to do and only work on our strengths. Well, here's the thing. There's sometimes I got to take part 2, 3, and 4, and I need to pass the damn thing just so I can have a piece of paper to do what I love to do. So there's certain times that we can't get mad at the system.
Right.
We just got to jump through the hoop. And let me tell you, it took me, I would study for 12 weeks, man. I would do a half hour a day just so I didn't have to cram and rush. They sucked. Boards sucked.
Yep.
You know, and because I just know it was an end to it. It was a means to an end. So when I start to see someone, I didn't pass this board or that board, I'm like, well, you didn't put in the work, you didn't study, so all these characteristic traits or faults start to show to
yep.
a sharp doc. I'm like, man, I don't know, and I'm going to put you responsible for my clinic. You know, so there's characteristic traits behind that. Now, if they're honest with me and say, listen, one doc says, listen, I was in rugby. He was at Life. He's like, I had a concussion, and he had brain trauma, right? So it was tough to take boards. I get it. You know, if a doc was just, his head was somewhere else, you know, he was partying a lot in Atlanta, I get it. But at least be honest with me.
Right.
But damn, don't anybody tell me, oh, I tried hard and I couldn't pass it. Bullshit.
Right.
It's like, you absolutely, the boards are meant to be passed.
Right.
Have you seen some of the chiropractors that are practicing? Come on. But so that's why I think brutal honesty and transparency is going to be huge. Or why you're going to be seen as someone who's lazy or doesn't have a work ethic. I would rather you tell me the truth.
Yeah.
That's why I don't care about resumes. Tell me the truth. Tell me you went through a divorce. I got it. I get it.
Yep.
But now it's over, and I'm there to tell you, now it's over. Now pass your freaking boards.
Right.
Like, you just got to. So that was a thing I kept on seeing. And a lot of docs that came in, they didn't have their board. They went out to be YouTube stars, in fact. And I'm proud of them in that way. But at the end of the day, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to do that. You can't, you know, you gotta get through it, guys. That's what frustrates me about some docs. You know, because practice to me is much easier than school for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just it's a different thing though.
Right.
School was just.
It's something you got to do, and you said it right. It's a hoop. It's a hoop you got to jump through, and you can't. You're not gonna. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Before we cut to a sponsor break here, here's the thing: a lot of people don't understand. If you want the system to change, know that it's not going to change for you. It will only change for future generations. So, what that means and what that tells me, if you're pissed at the boards or you're all up in arms about it and you like start petitions or whatever, you try whatever process you need to do to change boards, it won't be changed for you. It will be changed for future generations. So understand that it's like something you got to do. It's just something you got to jump through. And like Dr. Zaino said, it's a lot different when you get to the other side of it. And you're asking different questions, and you should be. As an associate, you should be asking different questions. Here's a quick yes or no answer, Doc. Do you recommend people go into an associateship first before opening their own clinic? Yes or no?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Because it takes risk away. I went right into my own clinic because my wife at the time worked for Dr. Jimmy Lebrecht, and she learned the business part of it.
Yep.
So I basically opened with a partner.
Right.
Who knew what I didn't know. I knew how to adjust, and Whitney knew how to draw on x-rays, Whitney knew how to do insurance, Whitney knew how to do day one process. Like, she was the CA tech, and it's everything we didn't learn in school. So I had the advantage of Whitney. Yeah. You know, at the time to do that. Otherwise, I would have definitely associated just to learn. You make the mistakes,
Right.
Then start your own thing, see if you like it or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll be right back from thanking these sponsors. Every chiropractic clinic needs a compliance program. If you are not sure what that includes or why you need one, let Dr. Robin from RHDC Consulting help you build your chiropractic compliance. If you are ready to get started, head to robin-hale.mykajabi.com and let Dr. Robin guide you to the end result. Dr. Christy Wick is revamping the landscape of women's chiropractic coaching. With a focus on connection and congruence, she's on a mission to empower Lady DCs across the nation to create bold, successful lives and practices their way. Get started today by visiting theilluminatedsquad.com. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. Awesome. So we were just off camera chatting a little bit. And Dr. Zaino brought up a great point about communication, right? Talk to us about what that looks like. How do we create a two-way street between an associate and a head chiropractor? Because a lot of times that's where the heads start to butt. That's where problems come from. That's where the murky water starts to begin to be created, is when there's not a two-way street of communication. So how do we create that in the practice?
Again, it comes back to expectations. You got to be overly clear on expectations and keep on clarifying it until it's there. Because anytime something went south, it was because I may have said something or promised something and it didn't turn out that way, right? So it's these little things that you forget, or that's why everything has to be written down, especially when it comes to dollars and cents.
Yep.
That's when things start to go a little haywire on that. So it's over communicating what's expected on each party, because a lot of times I could tell the associate, this is what you need to do, and have this huge list, but then I think the associate needs to say, well, this is what I need from you.
Right.
I need an hour a week with you just to ask questions and learn. No associate ever came to me and say, well, this is what I need from you besides a paycheck. I need, help me with this. Show me how to do this. Who do I speak to about this? So there should be an equal give and take to move forward as a team together.
Yeah. And also I would argue that you're learning two different things, right? Because if, as a head chiropractor, they're trying to teach you the business, they're trying to teach you how to be a great clinician and chiropractor, and they're trying to teach you kind of everything that it takes to run a clinic. As an associate, you are trying to be a sponge and absorb that. You're bound to have questions along the way. Like you just said, the last thing or the only thing that people usually come up to the head chiropractor for is a paycheck. That should not be the case, right? It should be a seek out and seek or give and take relationship, right? But it should be a give and take relationship in the sense of almost a 1-for-1, right? Okay, we learned this week, or we learned this today, or we did this, and here are my questions about that, right? Hey, doc, you had me do this, and I did the day one this way, just like you asked me to. How do we, I had this kind of thing come up and situation come up. How do I handle that, right? They have to be allotted time as an associate. We have to be allotted time to ask those questions. We have to, right? And that's, again, you nailed it on the head. It's creating that two-way street, and it's creating that communication between the two people, because it's clarifying expectations and also making recommendations based on what you've already said, right? So you're not telling someone over and over and over and over again to do something because you haven't told them yet. You're telling them very clearly, very precisely to do something, they do it, and then all of a sudden, if they do it wrong, you say, hey, here's what I was looking for, here's where we messed up, here's where we can navigate to. Does that kind of make some sense? I really think that if we open those communication doors, it won't be, the head chiropractor complaining about the associate and the associate complaining about the head chiropractor, because it's eventually we're going to go to the same tavern and we're going to have a cocktail together, right? Like, it's like we're going to have a conversation, right? And the last thing I want to do is not bring up a certain topic because it's something that's kind of taboo to be spoken about because I have a question or because I have a concern or I don't know what I'm talking about or doing, right? And I've run into that a couple times in my associateship where I'm like, Doc, I don't know this. I don't know this part, right? Like this part of this journey or this process. It's like, hold on, we got to this part, we did great, but right here, I have some gap, right? And I need a bridge here, right? So help me with that. And then we talk through it, we work through it, and then we're on the other side, right? But it only helps his practice. It only helps the practice that you're in if you're both successful at what you do, right? If it's day 1, day 2s or adjusting, doesn't really matter. You got to both be successful with what you do. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
No, that nailed it. That was great.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk now about censorship, social media censorship, because I want to kind of wrap this conversation up in regards to associating. But I want to talk about social media censorship with you because it is a hot topic right now. And how do we, I would just kind of, I want to get your opinion, right? What would you suggest you do as a chiropractor to not get flagged on the internet? Maybe from sharing something, from saying something. How do you navigate that? Talk to me a little bit.
Well, I know everybody's like, well, hey, it's freedom of speech, but understand, like, you're on somebody else's platform. You follow?
Yep.
And unfortunately, those people, they're bigger. You got to understand. You talk about CNN and Fox and ABC, but do you know Facebook is a bigger channel than all of them?
Yep.
More people watch Facebook than I don't even have cable TV. Just to share, so you understand, like, Facebook, YouTube, they are the biggest channels than any other TV station was. Like, nothing even comes close to them. So you got to see them as a TV station. And you don't own it. It's not some free platform. It's free, but you know what I mean? It's not some, like, there's governing rules and you have people ahead of it that make decisions and call the shots, and they're being paid and they're being lobbied by other stuff. It's, what do you expect? So when someone censors something, they're censoring something, but they're allowing you to play in their playground for free.
Yep.
And if they have a certain belief or a certain culture or there's politics involved and you're playing in their sandbox, they're going to kick you out if it's not if it's ruffling the feathers. So yeah, but so all you have to look at is if things are being censored, it's because truth is trying to prevail, and it's really good. Like, the more they censor, the more people are going to realize, wow, there must have been something to that. Like, they're actually digging their own hole. But when it comes to marketing, let's talk about marketing, chiropractic, regen med, functional medicine. I recommend you do this. Find a group of chiros in your area. So if I'm in Houston, I'm going to look at a few chiros in Houston. And we're going to get together, and we're going to hire a healthcare attorney for our state. So Houston, Texas, right? And the reason why I say per your state is because there's different laws in different states, and you have to run all your marketing stuff through that healthcare attorney or through that board attorney that knows the board rules of Texas or wherever you live, and they know. And you know what? And let me tell you, I'm just going to warn you, that attorney is going to scare the shit out of you on everything you run. So everything's going to seem like you're breaking the law. It's like trying to talk to some of these guys that tell you how to do Medicare. It's impossible, and you're going to go to jail. I get it. That's their job, is to scare the shit out of you. They're like the Prince of Darkness, right? But I think it's good that the reason I want a couple of you to come in is because it'll lessen the cost of that attorney. But if that healthcare attorney could look over everything and they know the rules and they know the board rules, they'll see the wording. And if anything's going to possibly get you in trouble, then at least you know then. And then you develop an ad that works, that can go forward. Like, for instance, just today or last night, we found out that regenerative medicine can now, stem cell wasn't able to be used, and now regenerative medicine is now FDA is coming down on that. So it's like, wow. So overnight,
right,
they could shut it down. The powers that be. So I really think every office, you need to have a good healthcare attorney or a good legal counsel. The reason why I say get a group of docs you love is because then it could kind of lessen the cost, so not one person has to take on all the cost. And I really think you need good counsel at all times on retainer, because the bigger and better you get, people are going to try to throw stones at you and take you down. So you just need to have a team for it. So that's why I said a group. But I noticed that having a healthcare attorney or someone who knows your board rules, when it comes to actual physical ads, paid Facebook ads, and you're trying to bring people in, because some chiropractors were saying an adjustment boost your immune system and come in for your COVID adjustment. Hey guys, I totally get it. That's what I even tell my patients. I totally get it. But you got to understand when you're creating media, marketing media on someone else's TV station. I know, I'm a chiropractor. I totally get it. Yeah, I believe you. I get it. I went to Life University where one of the teachers says that you could inject him with AIDS and he'll get an Atlas adjustment by Sid Williams and it wouldn't hurt him. So, I mean, trust me, I'm principled, guys. I get it. But the public will see that that's false advertising. You can't use that. So when you just have especially now, a good healthcare attorney, because people are all sensitive with being politically correct and stuff like that, I think when it comes from the marketing side, you cover your tail, and then going in, everything's documented, everything's good, and you don't have anything to fear. But when it comes to just basic censorship, guys, it is what it is. You put out some stuff. I would always go bold, so you get your stuff taken down. Who cares? It's up for 10 minutes, and I'm sure that 10 minutes probably helped 100 to 200 to 1,000 people. So don't worry about it. Repost it if you're that passionate about it.
Right. Yeah. I think you nailed it on the nose. And here's the truth. Here's the reality. I wrote down like a little schematic here in front of me. And just kind of the simple business model that we're running here on social media, right? I'm using social media right now to talk to everyone out there, right? This is what I do. This is what we do, right? But we have a free platform, okay? This is our gateway in. It's free. Woohoo, yay, we're in. Okay, now we are considered a head count. We are considered bodies in water or bodies in a platform or bodies, whatever. We're a head count. Now, what they're able to do with that is not only sell the exposure to the head count, because, I have millions, or in Mark's case, trillions and billions and trillions of people on my platform. So he's able to sell head count, and he's now also sourcing data from you, from us right now, what we're talking about. They subtitle all of my videos now automatically, because they want to know what we're saying. They want to know what I'm saying, right? So it's what they do, right? It's all AI. It's all controlled, not by Mark's not sitting there on his computer. It's all virtual. It's all AI. It's all artificial intelligence. And now they're able to sell that data and the head count and the exposure, right? And so when you go and make a post on Facebook and all of a sudden it like goes viral, or it doesn't go viral, but someone flags it, some Joe Schmo in their basement, eating ramen noodles in their mother's basement. Like, if they flag it as false advertisement or false news, right? Don't take it personally. Please don't freaking take it personally. Like Dr. Zaino said, and I'm so glad you started with that, because it's not your platform. You are using somebody else's. It's like Dr. Zaino going on my phone, right? Which, by the way, I have no control over either, right? So a lot of people are like, it's my phone, right? It's very secretive. It's like, no. I have no control over this device in front of me. So you have no ownership. It's like buying a car and driving it off the lot, but significantly less. Once you make a post on Facebook, once you say something on Facebook, it is no longer yours. It is no longer yours. It is not yours. It is the higher ups, or whatever Dr. Zaino called it, the powers that be, right? It's theirs to do what they will with it and what their audience wants to do with it, right? And so make sure you're doubling down. And we say this in chiropractic all the time. We just don't use it in marketing necessarily. So I'm really glad you brought up the healthcare attorney and all that stuff, because wouldn't you rather pay for the precautions now versus pay for the liability later, right? Yeah. You run the risk, this huge risk of exposing yourself as, a fraud or as some sort of criminal or skis-ball. Like, why would you even put yourself in that position if you can inevitably avoid it, right? Like, I think you made it pretty simple. It's like, get a group of docs together, hire a healthcare associate or attorney, and have them look over your ads, have them look over your media content, right? And if you're that passionate about it, I like that you said that. If you're that passionate, share it. Share it. But don't get pissed and don't share another post after that says, oh, they took it down. Like, just know that it hopefully did what it needed to do, right? In that time period, like you said, hopefully, 100 to 1,000 to maybe even 100,000 people saw it. Maybe it helped them, maybe it didn't. But you did what you could at that time, right? So it is what it is. If you're that passionate about it, make sure you share it. But don't go blame big tech for for censoring you. I'm with you, and that's why I want to bring up this conversation, because I think we get in this blame game of but we don't look ourselves in the mirror, and it's like we don't own that information or content anymore, right? So that's my 2 cents, and I hopefully go ahead.
Yeah. And John, and the real reality and truth that you need to face. No one really cares about your posts.
Yeah.
What they said, like out of the billions of people, like no one really, you're a very small number. And I'm not devaluing anybody, but it's like when you're in such a mass number, when something's flagged and removed, it's not personal. Like they don't even know who you are, and
Nope.
no one really cares, and it's forgotten. So it's like it's. I think people take it as that's how good the artificial intelligence is on Facebook, is that they could do something and you take it personally.
Yep.
Like it was another human being attacking you. No, there's nobody.
Nope.
No one cares. No one's attacking you. Maybe if so, I comment, but you know what I mean. Like I'm saying, it's like that's how genius the platform is, and if they take it down, they take it down, man.
Right.
I mean, Jesus,
right.
Who cares? It's like.
Yeah.
No big deal. How about get off Facebook for a little bit? Use it to market.
It's a great idea. That's a great idea. There's a solution, right? There's a solution.
Guys, there's too much right now. There's too much stuff to get you upset that you don't have too much control over. And what you do have control over, it takes away from your ability to fully help people and fully think of creative ways. Because I don't know about you, when I'm upset and I'm pissed, I'm not creative.
No. Not at all.
I want to push. I want to juggernaut. I want to bulldoze through stuff and force stuff.
Yeah.
There's no creativity in that.
Nope.
But when I'm in solution phase, like, okay, I can't do talks in the community anymore. So what solutions can I have? What can I do to help people? Then you start getting creative again.
Yeah.
But you don't do it when you're angry. I've never seen a very creative angry person. Yeah. Well, you know what it creates? It creates protests,
right?
Rioting. It creates stuff that nothing really good ever came from a protest or a riot. Like, so nothing good comes from it. Versus, like, imagine if they put all that beautiful energy into creativity and solution. Look how beautiful it would be. It would be amazing, because that's a lot of energy. Just think about that. It's huge. Like gathering people together for that. Just think about. Just think of what a cool thing it could be to gather people together for a solution.
Yeah.
That's positive, and it doesn't rely on the destruction or lessening of anybody else. It's a win-win for everybody, So, if you could, and all it needs is you just need to do it on your own and let other people figure it out for themselves. But
yeah, absolutely. And that's why we're here. So we're going to cut to the next ad break. When we come back, we're going to do some closing remarks and some advice, more advice for you.
Dr. Stu Hoffman, founder and president of CHIRO Malpractice Insurance, is the foremost expert in both risk management and risk avoidance. Understanding the everyday challenges of today's practicing chiropractor and the current public perception of chiropractic has made CHIRO the fastest growing malpractice insurance program of the last 28 years. Find out more at chirosecure.com. Imaging Services' primary business is chiropractic solutions. With over 45 years in the industry of helping chiropractors, Michael Tokash offers free consultations on building your business. In the past year, Imaging Services has installed over 100 X-ray machines and digital X-ray systems in over 42 states across the United States. For more, head to theimagingservices.com. Thank you for allowing this brief disruption to take place. And now back to the program. All right, we're back. All right, we are. Oh man, that's a whole nother podcast, Doc. So
It just shows you.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So we just got done kind of speaking on social media censorship, what that looks like, and in all reality, guys, here's the deal: you have a choice. Make it. If you're gonna use the platform, don't blame the platform when it turns on you. If you're gonna associate, I'll go back to topic 1. If you're gonna associate, don't blame the head chiropractor when you don't have all your ducks in a row, right? If you're gonna hire an associate, don't blame the associate when you don't have all the ducks in a row, right? It goes both sides. So I just wanted to tie all 3 of those things together. Doc, I want to leave the floor to you to leave us with some closing remarks, whatever advice you got, and or any more opinions you got on things. I just want to hear them. I want other students and recent grads to hear it as well. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the time we're living in right now, it's really easy to become distracted with emotions because it's very exciting. It's new. It's different. It's creating a fight, for a cause, and all these things it's exciting. It's stuff we saw in movies. We're actually all the movies we've watched, it's actually playing out in front of us in real time. So it's easy to get distracted and allow your emotions to go there. But I think now more than ever is when you really got to practice temperance and protect what you listen to. Like we said, probably since the first one, protect your heart by protecting what you look at, what you listen to, what you read, who you talk about. Because I'm easy. We could start talking about masks and this and that. You could get me fired up too for half hour where all that energy could have been towards, talking to my kids, creating something new, creating something positive. So really try to consciously be aware of what you're doing and what's it ending up in. Like, is it going to end up in something good? Or is it going to end up in something, negative and just kind of waste of time? So that's all I could do. I mean, that's all I could tell you to do, and just focus on new ideas and new ways. Create new stuff. Mm-hmm. This is a great time to experiment. It's a great time to take what we would call risk. Try different stuff out. I think it's great. There's no failure now. There's no failure during this time. It's temporary defeat, and temporary defeat is fine. Yep. It's never a failure. So I think a lot of things I want to take a risk at doing, like I brought in a whole day 1 process, meaning that I do everything in 1 day. They come in, and it's all done, everything, report of findings, paid, done. So I said, you know what, let me try a 1 day process. I always wanted to do it.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's like, this is a time where you should be like, hey, I always want to do it. Do it. Try it out.
Right.
Because it's really new. Everything's new. We're working in a weird thing. We don't know if it's gonna go back to normal. For us, it's always normal. But I can see, what are we, 4 or 5 months in now as we're recording this? If they're 5 months in and people still don't get what's going on, they're indoctrinated. They're in.
Right.
And so this is now a new element of people that we can't get mad at. We have to communicate. We got to work with them now because they're still beautiful people. They're still children of the Creator. We can still help them, but we have to be empathetic and, like, instead of forcing them and making them feel like they're wrong, like, we bring them in and we got to learn a new way to communicate to that person.
Yep.
Yes, yes, John. Come in at this time. You'll be the only one in the office. You can even come through our back door. Our doctors are wearing masks and everything is sanitized. I mean, dude, I'm saying that to you, and in my head I'm like, this is so insane. It's crazy town, but I'm empathetic towards that person.
Yep.
And if all they need is for me to bring them through the back door and put a useless mask on and spray some thieves' essential oils in the air for them to come in and get chiropractic care, yeah, I'll do that.
Right.
So it's like we gotta instead of push against people, we gotta empathize. And I don't care, and I mean all around, whether it be Black Lives Matters, whether it be people with bad, like, no matter what's going on, even people that are rioting, you just gotta empathize in a way on how can I empathize with them to communicate with them.
Yep.
And if I could communicate with them in the way they see things, then the end result of getting them as a patient to help them with some issues they're having becomes the win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's it.
Nailed it. Absolutely.
Yep.
Great close. Head to legendarychiro.com/go, legendarychiro.com/go to get all past 6 seasons of the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast and every single updated season or recent episode that we've done in season 7 so far. Dr. Chris Zaino, thank you for being on the mic tonight. Thank you for being on the show. As always, it has been an absolute pleasure, an absolute honor to have you on. And I hope that you guys found value in this. If you found value in this, go ahead, share it, like it, love it, comment, let me know. But we love you. We appreciate you. We hope you stay safe and do everything you can to have a powerful rest of your week this week. Bye, everyone.